Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another episode of Daily Palantir. On today's show, we have a bunch of things to cover. Number one, Mike Gallagher, the congressman. I was supposed to talk about this last week, but didn't get a chance to talk about it. He is leaving Congress and getting a job at none other than Palantir. We're going to talk about the implications of that, why that matters, how the media has been kind of spinning that narrative, and go further from there. Number two, Palantir bought a new company. And that company is a interesting stock. They revealed in their 13D filings with the SEC last night. Technically, they didn't buy it. They were given shares as payment for receivables. So we're going to talk about that company, why they have that stock, and what I think the synergies are between that stock and Palantir. And then finally, we have an update on customer count for Palantir, or potential customer count on Palantir, based on the Foundry links we are seeing for different companies potentially using Palantir software. Lots to get into. Let's get into it. All right, before we start, real quick, we're just going to look at price action. Nothing crazy to talk about. 2240, it's down 2% on the day. It was down yesterday, down today as well. Again, reason it's down, macro, not necessarily the best. The entire market is tending to be red, and Palantir is no exception. It sells off. Now, we did hit 2180 at one point today, and we bounced right back up to 2240. So we'll see if this 2240 level stays, if we fall back below 22, or if we go further up to the 23 level. But outside of that, nothing too crazy when it comes to the stock action. Let's get into the first piece of news I want to talk about, which is the new company that Palantir bought. This was pretty interesting. I saw last night on their investor relations page, and then I tweeted it last night at what time? At about 11:03 p.m. For the new stock that Palantir acquired. Palantir has received 256,000 shares of MSP Recovery Inc., ticker symbol LIFW, as payments for outstanding receivables. They now own 955,000 shares, and they received, as you can see in this picture right here, 256,410 shares of Class A common stock on March 22nd, 2024, as payment for certain outstanding receivables. Now, Palantir did the exact same thing, basically a barter deal. They take equity and they give you software, AIP, Foundry, whatever it may be, if the company can't afford the software itself, with Surf Air Mobility. And then a couple of days later, Surf Air Mobility released a video showing a demo of how they're using their company in relationship with Palantir. It's kind of like it's an electric jet company, very similar to Lilium, which is a SPAC Palantir invested in before. So we have seen Palantir do this bartering process before with different companies, where they take equity in the company and then they give them the software for free. And the idea is, if the software makes the company more productive, the equity will be worth more one day. And so instead of taking cash right now, it is still a way to collect payment, even if that company can't afford the software itself. Now, last night, MSP Recovery shares were up 71%. Let's check it right now. LIFW. These shares are up 29% of the day. So they're not up the same 71% they were up yesterday, but they are up 29%. Yesterday was $1.14. Currently, right now, it is 86 cents. To answer the question that's on everyone's mind, Amit, are you buying this thing? No. I'd rather buy more Palantir, quite frankly, on this dip. I am not buying this. I do not chase the companies that Palantir, does these types of deals with, because you just don't know if those companies are going to work out or they're not going to work out. So for me, no, I'm not buying it, but I am very interested for why they are acquiring, or why they're taking these shares of the company. So I did some digging on what this company is. First of all, on March 4th, the CEO, John Ruiz, acquired 438,000 shares. So the CEO buying almost 500,000 shares, that's definitely exciting and bullish for at least the confidence he has about the company. Market cap is 119 million. It is absolutely a small cap company, but the CEO is buying a decent number of shares, which indicates he's probably bullish for the future of the company. Now, what does MSP Recovery do? They operate in the healthcare sector, and that immediately got my attention, because we know the synergies Palantir has between everything they're doing with healthcare. They manage the entire UK, NHS healthcare system, and all the different things they've been doing with Tampa Bay General, Cleveland Clinic, powering 20% of hospital beds in the United States. So that, to me, got me really excited already for why they were working with this company. So the company focuses on the recovery of improper payments from healthcare providers, Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial health plans. The company leverages technology and legal expertise to identify and recover payments made by these entities in error. Now, what that signals to me is that this is a company that is focused on the healthcare space, but not necessarily providing healthcare services, but on the back-end operations of the payments infrastructure for healthcare, which is a massive thing. The amount of times insurance gets something wrong, they file the wrong claim, I'm pretty sure anyone watching this has had experiences with that. You pay a certain amount of money, the insurance company never gets it, so they overpay or they underpay, and then your doctor calls you and is like, hey, you didn't pay your bills. Medicare, Medicaid, these systems in the United States, not the most efficient and effective when it comes to streamlining the processes for actually making sure money goes from one place to another, whether it's insurance to hospital or hospital back to insurance, going to your pockets or leaving your pockets. So I would argue there is a massive market opportunity for just the payments around healthcare operations and healthcare receivables. And it seems like this is a company that's trying to capitalize on that. This is the website right here, MSP Recovery and Palantir. Oh, wow. They did a press release on this? Oh, wow. Hold on. Look at that. I did not see this when I pulled up this website. MSP Recovery and Palantir partner to transform connectivity across the U.S. healthcare system. Is that a new piece of news? Did that come out? Let's see. I'm looking at this right now. I didn't see this before. No, they didn't put that as news. So there's no news about that in the press release or nothing that I'm seeing right there, but they announced it on the website itself. 2023. Let's see. Command F Palantir. Nope, nothing there. And nothing in 2024. Interesting. So on the website itself, I did not see this before pulling it up as I was getting ready to record this. There you go. MSP Recovery and Palantir partner to transform connectivity across the U.S. healthcare system. So that's in real time, I'm learning that not only does Palantir have equity in this company, obviously they were working together, but now it's official. They are working with MSP Recovery in regards to transforming connectivity across the entire U.S. healthcare system, which it seems like is what the company is focused on primarily. So this is the website. I'll leave it in the description. You guys can check it out. This is called LifeWallet, powered by MSP Recovery, msprecovery.com. And it seems like LifeWallet is one of the products they offer to actually allow the effective payments solutions for the entire healthcare system, or at least the clients that they work with in the healthcare system. Now, what does this mean for Palantir shareholders? Number one, it means that we are continuing to innovate in regards to healthcare. Healthcare is one of the biggest verticals for Palantir. We've said this many times on the show, starting in January when we started off the year with a couple of press releases with Mount Sinai and Option Care Health, which is a $6 billion public company that Palantir is working with. Healthcare is a big deal. And I think it's a vertical that can become massive over the next decade for Palantir, along with energy and supply chains. The question simply becomes, what is Palantir going to do? What partnerships are they going to make in order to be able to grow market share in regards to healthcare? We've seen a lot of officials as well, even NVIDIA, Jensen Huang in the GTC conference said that healthcare is a very big vertical they believe that's going to be powered by AI over the next decade as well. I think that's one of those industries that Palantir can really tap into, and they have a head start just in terms of all the work they've been able to do. So seeing them partner with MSP Recovery and not take money from them, because a $119 million company probably can't afford to pay a ton of money for AI Pure Foundry. To take equity in them, especially if they're doing something innovative, if Palantir actually sees them being productive or doing something unique, and then supercharge that with their software, to me, that's a really exciting thing, and we don't know if MSP is going to fail or succeed, but we do know that Palantir is experimenting in different ways, different use cases, which is kind of the core value proposition of AIP, that can allow other companies and other ecosystems build on top of Palantir software in a niche like payment solutions for the healthcare market. So I think it's really interesting news, really interesting stuff. We will definitely keep an eye on this company for a while now that they're working with Palantir and see where it goes from there. Okay, next piece of news. Let's talk about this one. This one was an exciting one. I didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, so let's cover it now. Mike Gallagher is taking a job at data analytics company Palantir. Let's read a little bit from this. Wisconsin Republican Representative Mike Gallagher plans to take a job at the data analytics company Palantir after his sudden retirement from Congress next month. The Green Bay Republican said last week that he would leave Congress April 19th after initially saying he planned to retire at the end of his current term. A Puck News reporter soon after said Gallagher told people that he would take a job with Palantir, the data analytics and security firm started by Peter Thiel. It's not clear what Gallagher's role would be at Palantir, whose data services are used by the U.S. corporations and other governments, including in security and defense contexts. I will tell you my unofficial investigative journalistic due diligence on what Mike Gallagher's role is going to be at Palantir. He is going to be lobbying to make sure Palantir gets more deals. That's what he's going to be doing. I mean, like when I saw this news immediately in my head, I was like, okay, cha-ching, that's good. Mike Gallagher, for those that don't know, is a China hawk. He is very anti-TikTok. He's very anti-CCP, just in terms of the practices that they've been having over the past few years with the United States. He's part of the sort of council that's been saying we need to really think of American security seriously in regards to what China's doing right now. Palantir feels the exact same way. Jacob Hellberg, one of the senior officials on Palantir's Security Council, has launched an entire public campaign over the past year and a half around why TikTok is a national security threat. So when you think of someone who worked in Congress, who has a lot of connections, who knows a lot of people that know people that know people that are the decision makers to get deals done, to me, the reason Palantir is hiring this guy is because his number one job is going to be when Karp says, hey, we need to get this deal. Can you talk to Mike? And can Mike talk to this guy? Someone makes a phone call to Mike. Mike makes a phone call to someone else. And then Karp gets a meeting with the person for the deal that theoretically we should be able to get. That is my assumption. That is not official, but that's kind of how this stuff works when it comes to lobbying. You don't get a congressman to join your company, a former congressman, because they're the next innovative mind on product solutions. It's like, no, they have a role. Their role is to get you closer to getting deals and to lobby on your behalf. Now, some people have been saying, oh, this is unethical. This isn't fair that they're hiring a former congressman to now work at a private company. I think it's actually very fair, and I think it's very ethical, and I think it's the right thing to do. Lobbying has been seen as a negative thing, when in reality, all lobbying is getting your interests across. And everyone in some form or another, even if we're not working at a major, multi-billion-dollar tech company where we're a senior official, we do lobbying all the time. We all lobby other people that know other people to hopefully get us connections so that we can advance our own priorities in our own life. It's just the nature of it, what it is. And when you're lobbying with people, you have to be friendly with them. Yeah, no one wants to work with you and help you out and give you favors if you're, not being friendly, if you're not in the same ideological mind state as them. These are just ways to play the game at the end of the day. And so to me, if there was any company that would lobby, by the way, all the big tech companies spend, I don't know the exact number, but I would argue hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year, lobbying Congress and politicians to understand their agenda, their thoughts, their ideas. Palantir is no exception. These are costs. Essentially, these are marketing costs, in my opinion. You have to pay certain people to get access to other certain people so you can get deals done. So if there is a deal in some capacity that Palantir could potentially win because Mike Gallagher can make one phone call or talk to certain people or get Alex Karp in the room with different people, that is well worth the money that we would be paying. And every single company does that. So to me, I think it's a good idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think we need someone like him who is anti-China, who is sort of in the same Western values protectionist mindset that Palantir has, in order to be able to continue to advance Palantir's interests throughout the U.S. government. And by the way, Palantir has the Federal Advisory Board. People forgot about that. They announced that early in 2022. So we have a lot of senior ranking officials on the Federal Advisory Board that already work with Palantir to help them navigate different things that they're trying to do in terms of winning contracts with the U.S. government and just working with the U.S. government. So this is no exception to me. This is just another way for Palantir to have an advantage. And hopefully it works out and it leads to more connections so Palantir can get more deals with the U.S. government. Okay, last thing we'll talk about today. This one was really interesting. Our boy Ether Square posted a update on the Foundry links that he is seeing. So this stuff is super important. Again, Ether Square, I'll put his Twitter in the chat or in the description if you guys don't follow him. He basically finds companies like bp.palantirfoundry.com and tries to track the number of links every month based on companies that might not be official clients of Palantir, but do have a working Palantir Foundry access link, a multi-pass login, which allows us to assume, in good faith, that these companies are probably working with Palantir. So he posted yesterday, Palantir generated more unique Foundry entities in the last quarter than in the rest of Q1's plus 2021 and before combined. So as you can see right here, in 2021, they posted about 120 links. Q1 2022 call it about 20. Q1 2023 call it about 140, 150. And then Q1 2024, we're just above 300. That doesn't mean we added 300 new customers in Q1. So I don't want people to think that we're going to have 300 customers in Q1 earnings that are net new additions. But that does mean that these links did pop up, which means pilots probably popped up. And from those pilots, based on the conversion of what Palantir was able to do, that's the number of net new customers, net new deals we actually added to the business itself. So it's really encouraging to see that number, because even if you assume a small percentage off that conversion, if those are net new customers, our customer count rate should be going up month over month. And this leads me to believe that by the end of 2024, if not Q1 2025, we are going to have a breakout quarter when it comes to the number of customers. That breakout quarter from the number of customers should lead to a breakout quarter in terms of top line revenue. And if operating margins continue to increase, that will ultimately go down to the bottom line and hopefully help our GAAP profitability, our income from operations become much stronger than it is right now, which will ultimately be very good for Palantir. All right, that's it for me today. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Let me know your thoughts on what you think about Mike Gallagher leaving Congress and joining Palantir. And also, are you buying the dip today? Did you buy as soon as it went below 21 or below 22 in those first, call it 25-ish minutes as the market opened? And now at 22.40, are you buying as well below 23? Let me know. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Please make sure to follow on Twitter to get all the updates in the world of Palantir. And I'll see you guys on the next one.